What is up, everybody? Welcome to the bi-weekly community call. We have, am I crisp? Nice. All right, whatever. Welcome. We have a lot to talk about. Feels like we haven't had one of these in forever, even though we had one a couple weeks ago, and a lot has happened since then. So first things first, we could start off with a little update on everything that's going on with Pirex ETH. So we're at 4,100 total ETH locked. APX ETH yield is at about 9.27%, so still the highest out of all liquid staking tokens, even though some other people on Twitter like to claim otherwise. And the PX ETH liquidity yield is still pretty good, and I think we can touch on the liquidity strategy in a bit. As far as new integrations, some stuff has been heating up lately, so we ended up coming back from the depths and winning the YETH inclusion vote. It wasn't looking good at first, and then we had the greatest comeback of all time and ended up winning. And right now, the total exposure of YETH to APX ETH is like 0.25% or something like that. As far as I understand it, they're going to be increasing exposure all the way up to 1% over the next few weeks, up until like the next reallocation vote, and then they basically do a vote every 4 weeks to reallocate 10% of the total exposure. So we need everybody to turn out again to vote if you happen to be a YETH holder. That way we can get some of that free TV out there. Let's see, what else do we have? Additionally, I don't know if we covered this on the last community call. I don't know if it went live or not, but the time swap integration. So APX ETH got added to TimeSwap, so there's an APX ETH wrapped ETH pool, and I believe we still have some Butterfly incentives as well as time incentives that are live. I don't think time is a liquid token yet, but Funky, how much longer are we going to continue doing Butterfly incentives there?
So the incentives on TimeSwap will last for 12 weeks. Well, there were 12 weeks when we started, I think like 2 weeks ago. So there's still another 10 weeks of incentives, but same as before, every week 1K Butterfly, and then matching time. I think it's at their like seed valuation or something like that. So yeah, basically incentives during the whole duration of the TimeSwap vault.
Yeah, and it's actually been doing pretty good. So it has, I think, around 400K TVL. Last I checked, the total volume on the pool was like 700 something thousand. Go use it. Go experiment with it. Be careful. Obviously, there's leverage involved, but I think there's around like 50% APR up for grabs in both of those tokens. So go check that out. Additionally, on the lending side, Sturdy, we are live there. There's two aspects of the Sturdy integration. So there's the Redacted PX ETH aggregator, which I'll admit I have no idea how that works, but there's also a silo where you can borrow and lever up against your PX ETH, staked ETH curve liquidity position. I think a few people have already started doing that. I think there's some TVL there.
The silo thing is pretty unique, actually. I can touch on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The aggregator. So, can you hear me?
Yep. Everybody's mic is on point today, by the way. Anyways, go ahead.
I'm trying a new setup right now. So, okay, basically, the problem that exists with these isolated money markets, obviously we're in conversations with Silo and Morpho and some of these other ones, for those who are familiar with this little vertical that's popping up. The problem that exists with them is that all the liquidity is fragmented, right? So every pool is isolated, aka fragmented. The money that exists in one pool cannot be shared across the money that's in another pool. And what we get with the aggregator is, as more PXETH TVL starts to flow in there, PXETH will slowly become the best asset for people to provide liquidity for and borrow against on Sturdy as a platform as a whole, because that money that is in that aggregator acts as like a global liquidity pool for all the other pools, all the other isolated pools who integrate PXETH to pull from. So in many cases, it's better for people to, like, as the TVL starts to grow, to borrow that money from PXETH aggregator pool, or pull on that liquidity that exists there for borrows, right? So it's actually a pretty neat integration, and the APR is amazing. So yeah.
So yeah, go check that out. There are Butterfly and Sturdy emissions available. And again, Sturdy is kind of like TimeSwap, where the token isn't live yet, as far as I know. But good way to get in on the ground floor of some of these like newer projects that are pre-token. Another integration that I accidentally glanced over, which I regret, is we now have a PXETH Doodles pool on MetaStreet. So if you're a Doodles holder or want to lend to Doodles holders, you can go do that now. I think Sammy is already all in on that pool.
Yeah, I'm all the liquidity there. So MetaStreet is like MetaStreet is like a new NFT lending marketplace that's pretty unique actually. Like I think it solves a lot of the problems that existed with the prior set of NFT marketplaces. Very soon you'll be able to borrow any of the NFTs. We're setting up pools for punks and little pudgies. And what do we have in the chat here? Maybe we'll set up some My Ladies. I see Jokers is My Lady. What else do we got? Got a lot of Butterfly Pepes. Hickson, I think that's a Remilio. Dan, that's a punk. We're going to set up pools. Maybe a Strife, your llama be a good one. So we're going to set up pools for all of these different NFT markets. And we're in contact with some of the bigger liquidity providers there. So that PXETH becomes the go-to asset of this money market. And it'll be really neat because you guys have a ton of new liquidity sinks that open up for PX and APXETH. And then at the same time, like it's a pretty unique pool where, one of these guys doesn't pay you, you can liquidate them and take their NFTs. So yeah.
So if you want to be people's exit liquidity for their NFTs, then this is the integration for you. And I can't believe I almost skipped over it. Jeez. So another thing we launched recently that I don't think we covered in the last community call, and it's not an integration, but I want to give a shout out to Hot Wheels before we move on to like the L2 discussion, is the new PyreXETH metrics page. So it's pretty fucking cool. Go look at it. There's a lot of charts on there. We need you guys screenshotting these charts, sharing them on Twitter and stuff. It's got the percentage of PXETH staked, the APXETH yield. It shows the APXETH yield multiplier, and then obviously shows the TVL and stuff like that. So go check it out. It's pretty cool. You spent a decent amount of time on it, and I think it turned out great. If you guys have suggestions for other metrics that you want to see on there, obviously, please make them. We'll see what we can do to get them added, but just make sure that you're sharing all of these to, show a little love to the page. Hot Wheels has been grinding lately, responding to all of the application feedback. Yeah, show it to your grandma. Actually, Wheels he's had to do the same thing. Like his grandma almost made him quit working with us because he thinks we're not a real company. So the more people hyping up Hot Wheels, the better. That way you can, build up a strong case for his grandma. Okay, so I think one thing, Sammy, you wanted to spend a little time on this call discussing is the sort of layer 2 strategy, which there's two aspects of this. So there's there's I guess three aspects. So there's the PXETH multi-chain expansion, there's the mode partnership, and then what we're thinking about doing there, and then there's the like native minting PXETH and stuff on layer 2. So I guess we could start with where we're at on the PXETH multi-chain expansion first. I don't know who wants to start off with that, but
guys, I got some good stuff for you today. I'll try not to leak anything, Colton.
Yeah, don't go fucking crazy.
Okay, so you guys might have seen, obviously in the market right now, there's a 1 sec. Sammy, can you please get Silo, Balancer, and all your DeFi friends to deploy on mode so PXETH can swallow up all that ETH and pump your bags? Okay. Well, listen up, Chud. So you guys might have seen, like, obviously there's this new meta going around about points, and at the same time, there's a mini narrative within that narrative brewing on L2s staking the ETH that is in their bridge, right? There's a very big liquidity sink for ETH. In some ways, maybe even bigger than EigenLayer, right? And the thing is that a lot of these L2s and even the L1s are opting out of staking their ETH because 1, it doesn't bring much to the table in terms of yield. 2, it's a security risk. And 3, there's no added utility brought to the chain, right? So we've been working on crafting what a bridge staked PXETH looks like for a few weeks now behind the scenes. And our bigger partner, Mode, has announced it from the window from the last community call to now. And you guys might have seen it's doing very, very well. Obviously, like I saw like some people saying like every single dollar in there is going to be staked in PXE. No, as much as that would be nice, that they have to keep a reserve that's liquid so that they can withdraw, right? So it's not every single dollar in there, but it'll be majority of it, right? And when that's going to happen, that will be part of their phase 2, which the only date we have for phase 2 is Feb/March. So soon, right? Wish I could give you guys a better date. But I'll let Never talk a little bit about what we're thinking in terms of how this is a very scalable system that we can bring to multiple L2s, especially in the OP stack and Polygon CDK side of things, in terms of like how we can scale this to like multiple chains.
Yeah, because I did kind of brew out where, there is definite natural demand for L2s. It's just like a ton of economic activity they're missing out on. And, in a world where it's very multi-chain, you're going to have a bunch of these app chains and they're going to be hosting millions of users. And yeah, it's very similar to, EigenLayer where you kind of, how you have stuff on mainnet or like the beacon chain giving security to these app chains. You can basically have an LSD giving like just native like ETH yield to all these L2s, and it's like kind of like that yield availability layer kind of thing. So the idea here is that there's that clear demand, just one L2 coming out to us, but if you kind of extrapolate it long term, what you really want to build is kind of a very safe and scalable and liquid system that allows for basically ETH on L1 to be and stuff to be bridged, but also kind of have that like liquidity buffer where you can actually manage inflows and outflows from bridges. So if you can build an open protocol that allows market makers, or even just retail, just put it into like just a smart vault to process these withdrawals and stuff, and kind of have like just a safe amount always staked. You do get this benefit of having native yield on your L2, whilst also not having to worry about any like liquidity crisis. And this market, we believe, is very big. If you can build a protocol like this, you can basically then be the yield supplier for basically all L2s, and that's how you can scale it just from this one partnership we're working with Mode. We want to really make this great with them, and then scale it out to every single L2. And we think it could be like a good liquidity sink for ETH, and really creates value. And then of course we take fees on it, but it will create a ton of value for L2s.
Yeah, so we're talking with a few other L2s now. Conversations have been going well considering the success of Mode. And once we can prove this MVP out, I think there's a future where we try to integrate this solution natively into the OP stack and the Polygon CDK, the Polygon competitor. So yeah, lots to do. It's a really big way for us to scale. Yeah, it's a really big way for us to scale, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah.
And I was gonna say, like, if there are people that have any questions, drop those. And in the meantime, I guess we can cover where we're at in terms of like the sort of basic like cross-chain expansion with regards to like PXE bridging and such. I don't know who wants to cover that.
Sorry?
Where we're at on like the bridge and like allowing for people to go cross-chain with PXE.
Yeah, we've already deployed like a lot of the bridge tokens to the first 3 L2s that we're going to be bridging to, which would be Optimism, Arbitrum, and BNB chain. Yeah, right now it would just Chainlink just integrating us into their what do they call it, decentralized Oracle network, where people validate these messages. So yeah, they gave us a deadline of like mid-February. So yeah, like once they're ready, it'll be live. We already have it on our UI. So that's kind of how we're going to be there. So yeah, soon. But I think everything on our end has been completed.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to add, is that all of this is still going to be within the sort of Dinero is money application. So in order to bridge multi-chain and take advantage of any of the opportunities there, you'll just be able to do that all sort of natively within the Dinero dApp. We're not going to require you guys to go anywhere else. Specs asked, so if I bridge ETH to Mode now, will it automatically be deposited into APX ETH? Or so no, that's not how it works right now. right now there's like no integration. We actually have to help them build it out a bit, but eventually it'll kind of work like that. So the idea is that like decent chunk of the ETH that is bridged over to Mode is put into just basically whatever the deposit contract they have is, and then that ETH is then deposited into APX ETH. But it obviously requires some like technical lift on their side, but we're going to help out on that because it's now part of like a bigger strategy we want to employ. And yeah, like Karn said, it wouldn't obviously wouldn't require any additional steps from you or users in general. They just bridge their ETH as normal, and then the rest is handled under the hood. Let's see. Any other questions? I'm blasting. Yeah, imagine. Someone dumbed this down for me. Twiggy, we're just talking about the Mode partnership for the most part. It looks like there are no other questions. Okay, here we go. So within the APX ETH, APRs sink massively when they just stake all bridged ETH and not push PX ETH forward. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like if a lot of deposits go into APX ETH, then APX ETH yield could go down a little bit, but that also means that PX ETH's yield is higher, relatively speaking. And that's the whole point of the system, right? That like anytime one side of the equation gets lopsided, that people move to the other higher yield source. But at the end of the day, like APX ETH yield can only go down so far because of the way the system's designed. So it's not like it could be nuked to zero or something like this. That's not how it works, because for every ETH that's deposited into APX ETH, we spin up, not every ETH, but every chunk of ETH that's deposited, we spin up new validators, right, that start earning yield. So basically solve the problem Blast is trying to do with the protocol, not MSIG. Yeah. Okay, so Vice Bash wants to hear about like native minting on L2. I don't know where we're at on that either.
Very, very, very soon. I'm actually pretty sure we've finished building it.
And can you explain how it works a little bit? Because that was the other half of the question.
Yeah, it's mostly like a really good proof of if you expect that a lot of DeFi activity is going to be on L2s in the next few years, yeah, we're just kind of like a very it's just very tedious for people to kind of get access to L1, like the Ethereum beacon chain yields. So either you have to bridge, put it into an LSD, stake it yourself from an L2, or you have to buy it from a liquidity pool. And sometimes, you kind of have to, if everybody's buying it from the liquidity pool because it's, let's say, gas is a bit cheaper, to do it that way to get exposure to LSD yield, you kind of drive up the peg a little bit. So it sometimes gets even cheaper just to actually pay the gas to natively mint it on these L2s. So like send a message to L1, bridge your ETH, it'll deposit it. Like it's like it's an intent based like deposit, but that you can do it on an L2. So yeah, it kind of creates that balance. Every time that it's too expensive to just buy it from the pool, makes sense people just to use this intent to, and it'll be all in our app.
No. So yeah, we have a lot of layer 2 shit planned basically, and the idea is that like the more we can lean into the current layer 2 landscape, the better. I think we're in a position now where we can move a lot more quickly than a lot of these other LSTs on the market, given how new we are, and that gives us an advantage in terms of positioning across the board. So I was on that spaces with Lido and Rocket Pool and the rest yesterday, and I think like part of Lido's problem, right, is they're so fucking big that they have to move slow on everything. And then Rocket Pool is it seems like they don't really care about the LST side of things. They more so care about the node operator side of things. So we're in a good spot in terms of like our competitive positioning. If everyone is an API, true, but marketing gets hard. Yeah, so I mean, if the yield goes down, obviously marketing's not as fun because you can't brag as much. But again, like the design Pyrex ETH lends itself towards like the odds that APX ETH just normalizes to the exact same yield as like Lido, for example, is very low, because again, that would require everybody who's in Pyrex ETH to be in APX ETH for that to be true. So that's just not going to happen. Not with the way we're leveraging like the governance power of the treasury to keep yields on Curve, Convex, Bouncer, or etc. high. So, and I think we're also soon plannings stuff on the Prisma side. I don't know, Funky, if you want to talk about that a little bit. I guess in general, we can sort of transition to a discussion about like where we're at on the liquidity side and what the strategy is going to look like over the next couple months.
Yeah, so in addition to our normal liquidity incentives on like Balancer, on Curve, on Bunny, we've had our new incentives on PancakeSwap. So the vote for that just finished, and there'll be incentives on PancakeSwap starting soon. In addition to that, we're continuing to look at other opportunities. We have 2 new pools which we're going through the Curve approval process. One's a pool with reserve for ETHX. It'll be a PX ETHX pool, and we'll do co-incentives with them. We also have another partnership with ETHX, so it's PX ETHX and then PX ETH Plus, also a co-incentive pool as well. And as Colton was saying, we're also looking to do our first pool with a USDC type stablecoin with so that's for MKUSD. So basically a pool with Prisma, and basically that means that we can apply for a receiver so that we can vote for Prisma incentives on that pool in addition to Curve and Convex incentives. So that's pretty cool. And this should help pave the way for Prisma integration for APX ETH once the oracles come online, which should be soon, TM.
Cool. So that's the liquidity update. And also, I think we were the first to actually bribe on PancakeSwap. So hopefully that sort of encourages other people to start doing the same. I know a lot of people have been asking about the sort of status of that market. And I know I was telling you guys that we need to expand across a few different chains. Never, I don't know if we already deployed that or if that's happening soon.
Deployed in hand?
Yeah, the multi-chain aspect of like PancakeSwap, how they wanted to bribe for multiple chains.
Oh yeah, it's already live. I think we're on Arbitrum and Mainnet and BSC for the Pancake market.
Dope. So now that that's live, hopefully a few more bribes should be coming in. Marionette. So Marionette is launching very, very soon. Let me look at the date. So I think we are maybe like 2 weeks out from the Marionette launch. So we've coordinated with on that side of things and gotten aligned on what it should look like. And yeah, I think it's going out in about 2 weeks. And I'm only giving a date because I'm pretty confident in. Well, I guess I didn't give a date, but I'm only giving a timeline because I'm pretty confident in that timeline. So audits should be all wrapped up. Conversations are closed for that, and yeah, should be good. More partnerships in the pipeline. I'm not totally sure actually what the partnership pipeline looks like for Marionette. I mean, I think we're going to use Thena as a test bed for the Marionette launch, and we'll just kind of see how it goes from there. And if there are other partners who it makes sense to tap for that, then obviously we'll work with them. Cool. And I guess I'll open up for like any other like partnership strategy, whatever questions that people have. But for now, I will move on to the merch store because it's finally finished and ready. So I spent the past couple of weeks kind of like getting the designs ready and then getting the store ready. Obviously, like running a direct to consumer like merch store is sometimes a pain in the ass to set up, but I think we got everything in a good spot. And we also had to figure out like how to support global shipping and stuff, which we've also done. So if you go to shop.redacted.finance, you can get your hands on some redacted merch. And I guess I also promised a discount code for people who are listening to the call. So if you use code BTRFLY, that's BTRFLY, I think it's like 10% off at checkout. And 10% off in this case is a pretty fucking good deal because I already have the prices as low as possible so that we are just not draining funds every time somebody makes a purchase. So everything is as literally as cheap as it can be. And since we are not, hold on, Joker asked, but yeah, Vicepack shared it. It's just the butterfly ticker. So dad hats are on there, shirts are on there, hoodies are on there. Please don't share the discount code outside of Town Hall text chat because, like I said, I wanted to give the deal to people who are listening to listening to the community calls and tuning in. Obviously, you're all our favorite people, so don't go on fucking Twitter and promote it. Otherwise, I'll have to just deactivate it because the store will just start hemorrhaging cash. So again, it's as cheap as we can get it. It should support international shipping. If you live in an area where it's not supported for whatever reason, just DM me or tag me or whatever, and I'll try to figure out how to get it added. So Butterfly 1K gives 100% discount. Yeah, I wish. But yeah, anyways, the storefront's live, so we'll announce it to you guys first, and I'll wait till later today to kind of like announce it to the broader Discord. But there's some pretty decent designs on there. I think the Metamorphosis tee is probably like the coolest one. And then over time, we'll add more on there. And then on top of that, Sammy sort of teased the Dinero's concept that we've been working on, and it seemed like people are pretty fucking stoked on that. So we just need some ideas on what the execution of Dinero's looks like. So for now, we're gonna have to work on sourcing the boxes. We're going to have to work on sourcing what goes inside the boxes. And then from there, it's about figuring out how we want to actually launch it. I think my preference would be to almost launch it Unisoc style and do a sort of limited supply and let people trade against a pool of either Butterfly or PXETH or something to buy it. And then if you want to redeem it, you can redeem the NFT or something. If people don't want that, then we'll just have to figure out a different way. Sammy, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add regarding Dinero's since you leaked it.
Yeah, if you guys have suggestions on cool things that can fit inside a cereal box other than the t-shirt, let us know. Because we have a lot of private key to the treasury. That's a good one. Stickers. Yeah, stickers will be in there. Right now we're thinking t-shirts, stickers, and a lighter. If you guys have any other better, a wrench. Okay, yeah. We need to all start being more protective of our coins. Something limited edition. The lighter would be cool, The problem is shipping the fucking butane gas across borders.
Yeah, that would be well, I guess you could get a lighter where people could put their own butane in there. Yeah, you ship them empty. Yeah, I think that's right.
Mug. The mug wouldn't fit inside the cereal box.
Yeah, it'd have to be a big ass cereal box. Socks. People want socks. Yeah, I tried to actually source socks for this store, but the options available were kind of shit. So I'll have to figure something else out, or maybe we just do it for the box. Redacted brand. Is it easy to get branded cold storage? Seems not easy. Who would you buy that from? Trezor or Ledger or somebody? Okay, we got a bunch of ideas here. We'll figure it out. We'll make it limited edition. It's going to be a pain in the ass to put it all together, but we'll make sure it's cool and make sure it's worth it. I haven't seen any other questions outside of general merch stuff, so I don't know if there's anything else we wanted to. We might be able to cut this one a little short and let people get back to their fry. Regarding sizes, is the t-shirt that got released in 2023 an example? Yeah, the sizes are kind of the same. It's just normal sizes. So they don't run small, as far as I know. Swaggy had some questions. Fuck yeah, he did. Does anybody remember what those questions are? Actually, no, Figgy. They're not Figgy size. Otherwise, nobody would be able to fit in them. Never mind, it was just about mode. Okay, we covered that. Any last minute sweat shorts? Yeah, I can look into. I mean, are you talking about sweatpants, or do you mean actual sweat shorts, Chud? Shit, yeah, I guess we could cover gym shorts. Okay, I can look into that. Redstone. I think we are very soon on Redstone. As far as I know, they even have the contracts deployed to mainnet and everything else. And so usually they want it to sit on mainnet, pumping out prices for a little while before they allow people to start using it in production. So I think we are in a good spot. Mode airdrop to RL holders? No. Why do people keep making up airdrop narratives for RL Butterfly? It's a weird thing. I have a question if Butterfly is involved with. I don't know what that is.
We're talking to them. Yeah, we're talking to them.
So that answers that. We're just doing rapid fire questions.
The question was, is Butterfly involved with HTK money? Yeah, we're talking to them. Actually, it could be something cool there. Anime titties and yield. That's
Good
what we all
stuff.
love, don't we?
You know, that's what Karn loves. Facts. Yeah, I knew Karn would appreciate that. All right. Well, I think I think we're on the home stretch here. Merch order, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not rugging I'll rug the code later. So you guys have until the end of the day before the code gets rugged. So make your decision quickly. All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up. We're about 40 minutes in. I want to give people some time back on their Fridays. Sammy was on a podcast today. Yeah, I thought that was going to be a podcast, Sammy. I didn't know it was going to be a Spaces, but yeah, I'll drop the link. I think the recording is up on.
They recorded and put it on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, once they upload it, then I'll share with everybody. Thank you for the hard work on the merch. Yeah, I mean the merch is pretty good. We'll upload more later. I think I have some other designs coming in, so I'll get those added ASAP.
Look at Figgy, man. He has the recording. That's a real CMO right there.
Man. Well, anyways, appreciate you all
just so you know, Figgy came up with all the merch designs, the whole merch website. He even put his card on it.
This is fucking ridiculous. Anyways, thanks everybody for coming to hang out. Hope you enjoy your Friday. We'll get this uploaded. Figgy will get it uploaded on Monday, and we'll make sure to share it with everybody. So thanks again, and peace.